Hey guys, this is Amada Draz, and today we're gonna do a skin shading tutorial in Procreate. I hope you're excited. This is one of the areas that has been challenging for me to do, especially with my cartoony drawing style, because I've seen a lot of tutorials on YouTube that kind of explain the structure of the face and help you put the base colors down and how to mold the face into a more realistic design. But with me, with my cartoony style, I noticed that the simpler shading, the better that fits the concept of what I'm trying to achieve with my art. So I'm gonna show you what are the basic areas that I shade on the face and what kind of brushes I use, and also some tips and tricks on how to pick the best colors for the shadows. And I hope you're excited, so stay tuned and make sure to subscribe or like, and let me know in the comments if you like this video and what other video would you like to see from me. Thank you! Alright, let's get started! So the very first step is to color block all the shapes, the hair, the skin, the clothes, which I already did. And now I'm gonna pick a color that I'm gonna do the shadows with. So I color pick the face color, which is this very light orange. And then to make the shadow color, I slightly side to the darker side both on the colors, so I made it a little more red and then also a little to the right, but it's a very tiny shift. And the areas that are the base shadows I put down first is under the chin, because there's gonna be a big shadow from under the chin, you know, on the neck, and because the light is usually coming from up corner, you know, I just showing you right now as if the sun was there. And then I'm just trying to imagine all the little shadows that would be blocked by the sun on that side. So that is always just the first step, that I kind of map it out for myself. And it doesn't have to be super perfect here, but the areas that I am always doing, and it's kind of fun because it gives so much depth to the drawing instantly, is under the nose, which I am doing right now. And I am trying this little technique of outlining the side of the nostrils, but I decided it doesn't really work well. So I do a little triangle under the nose and then a little oval shape under the mouth, and then always shadow up above the eyes, because there is the way the skull is that the light can't hit the above the eye as much because it's angled that way. So this is the first step, that you shadow these areas broadly with this little textured brush that I'm using. I am using the dry ink that I made for myself, because it's the drawing that was in Procreate, and I just made it a little bigger. And then after I'm done with this first one, I just duplicate the layers to 3 different layers, and to make it a little darker. And then after that, I am using the selection tool to add a little blush. And for the blush, I'm using the watercolor brush, which is also a standard brush in Procreate. And just very lightly trying to add a little blush. For the blush, I always try to use a tone that's a little pinkish or a little reddish, but right now I chose an orange tone to match the lip color, which is, I think, the most fun part is just picking the color of the cheeks. And so I'm kind of playing around with that. You can see that I was trying out a little pink color because that would be a good match for her details on the jacket. But I just decided that since her skin tone is kind of more of a yellowish pink, it would match better if I did it orange and just match it with the lips. So once I do the cheeks, this is kind of the second step after I blocked out the first step, colors on, you know, like what we talked about already, below the neck, the chin, below the lips, the nose, and the eyes. After that, I just do this little blush with the lip color, and then I also keep the same color that I used for the blush, and then do some harder shadows around everywhere where the hair would fall in the face, and then the very hard shadows that are under the lips and under the nose and then under the chin. And I just make them a little rougher based on the areas that I blocked out in step 1. And so this is what you can see me do right now, is outlining above the eyes and around the nose. And you can, you know, play around with this. It's not set in stone, but what I noticed that my painting looks the most natural if I don't overdo shading. So that's why I try to be very intentional in the areas that I block off. And if I do any shading in the rest of the face, like the middle or the forehead or the cheek, under the cheeks, I try to just do what I'm doing right now is on a new layer. I just create a dark side and a light side and then play around with the layer modes. So it's basically just the left side of the painting. I just made a big block of darker color, and then the right side of the painting, it's a big block of lighter color, so that and then I make it transparent so that it's clear to see that the left side of the face is in a shadow because the light is coming from the right side. And you can see on the right that I have a bunch of layers now, but it really is just the same layer duplicated because I wanted the shadows to be more bolder to create more contrast. And that is basically step 3, is just all the basic shadows you put down in step 1, and then on step 2 all the cheekbones made a little more red, and above the eyes made a little more red, and the nose area. And then in step 3 you just add very crisp lines to the areas that you blocked out for shadows to create more contrast and more shapes that are clear for the viewer to read, so that the shading doesn't appear muddy, which happens a lot when you overshade. So right now you can see that I am also playing around with the layer settings and just making sure all the colors look the way I imagine. And that's a really great trick, to always make sure that you play with the hues, the color balance, and then play with the layer modes to make sure you get the best results. And then now this is the last step. I am blocking out these harsher shadows. You can see that I am blocking out harsher shadows on the fingers because the light would come from the top right corner, and then therefore the left side of the fingers would be in a darker area. And then another awesome trick that I'm trying to apply here is that shadows appear a lot more lively if they are more saturated. So you can see my shadows are very orangey, bright color, and I'm also playing around with the hues to make sure that it looks the best possible option. And some of the edges I am softening a little bit with the smudge tool, but overall I am trying to keep a balance between soft shadows and harsh shadows to make the illustration look more appealing. And that's basically it. So the video was a little sped up because I just wanted to give you ideas on how to make your face shading better. And you can see the finished piece here, which I haven't posted yet, but soon will be posted on my Instagram, so make sure to go check it out. And you can see how the final face shading turned out here. Hope you like it. And we're done! I hope that you enjoyed. I will post the final piece on my Instagram with the shaded hair, the shaded clothing. It's gonna be super cool because I'm making a leather jacket, but for the first, I always start with the skin, so I wanted to show you guys how only the skin will look like when it's shaded. And I hope you enjoyed this and that I got some useful tips for you. I would love to hear in the comments which tip was the most useful and what have you learned that you might have not known before. It will really help me to put together the next video. And also, if you could subscribe, that would mean the world to me. And also don't forget that if you head to my Ko-fi page and get me a coffee for $5, then until the stock lasts, I will send you guys a shiny Katara sticker. Let me grab it real quick to show you. Found it! So anyone who supports my art journey with a coffee, I will mail one of these beauties, which is Katara and Momo from Avatar. It's shiny and super cute. I put it on my phone case, but you can put it wherever you would like. Your iPad case, a notebook, or a mug, maybe not so it doesn't get wet, but anywhere else. Your car. Alright, thank you so much for watching and for supporting my journey and being here. It really means the world to me. I love doing this, and you guys make it just a whole different experience than if I were to just do it for myself. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Have an awesome day. Bye.